Here's a story from the Telegraph, which is an English newspaper, and actually these kinds of things go on all the time, possibly every day, possibly many times a day, but because this happened to English citizens, it made the news. There's a concept called collective punishment, and the Nazis used it. For example, if one person misbehaved in a village, they would just go in and kill everyone in the village. Well, U.S. immigration officials, ICE, as they're known, have the same policy when it comes to dealing with non-Americans on American soil. And here's an amazing story. This is a cruise ship that had a lot of people from other parts of the world on it, and they were cruising the Caribbean and Europe and Central America, the Panama Canal, and everything was fine until they got to the land of the free. And apparently a few people complained about the, I don't know, just the bad handling. And this is, by the way, this is an elderly group of people. This is not, you know, some wild group of partiers from Manchester or something. This is some elderly British couples, and elderly British people, about 2,000 in total. And they got off for a, they wanted to get off for a little bit of a visit to LA. And when they got to the US, here's what happened. They were a handful, were questioned at length. And a lot of the people that were traveling along did not approve or unhappy with that. So what the security people decided to do, the U.S. security people, was to make everybody, all 2,000 people on the ship, go through an enhanced security check, which took 7 hours to complete. And people had their fingerprints taken, their retina scans were taken, they were questioned about their backgrounds, they had detailed checks of their passports, and the people who were on the boat feel that this was carried out as a form of revenge. They complained they were herded like animals and made to stand for hours in temperatures up to 80 degrees with no food or water or access to the bathroom. Now, 80 degrees may not sound hot to you, but in England, 80 degrees is a heat wave. So that's a lot of heat for these people, and these are elderly people. So basically, collective punishment. The ICE officials didn't like the fact that a few passengers weren't happy with the way the security was being handled, so all 2,000 passengers had to go through this extreme security check. Now, this is not good, obviously, but stuff like this goes on every day of the week. I'll give you an example. I had a friend who was from Russia. Now he's got his green card. But at that time he was a legal immigrant, and he had to do his monthly or whatever it was visit to the immigration office, and they made a mistake. Some bureaucrat made a mistake and determined that he was in the country illegally, which he was not. He was handcuffed to a radiator for 7 hours. Then they put him on a bus for 9 hours to LA, where he was held in jail for a couple of weeks, and then they sent him out to a prison in Tucson, where he spent 6 months. During which there was a pretty violent prison riot. And when they finally acknowledged that they had made an error and that in fact he was in the country legally and all his papers were in order, they just put him out on the street downtown Tucson with the clothes on his back and not a penny. That's when they're being nice to people. So I have to advise my friends that are not American citizens, if you come to this country, you are risking God knows what. Because the people running immigration, ICE as it's called, are pretty much out of control. They're not killing people, but they can definitely grab you and hold you for an indefinite period of time. And again, cruise ship nightmare, well, if you're 80 years old being made to stand for 7 hours with no food, no water, no bathroom breaks, that's pretty bad. And again, the masters of this form of punishment, known as collective punishment, were the Nazis. And so it's pretty unfavorable to our country's image abroad that we've got people like this running our immigration service. So that's the news from Brass Check. Beware if you come to visit the States and you're not a citizen.